Hey families, I'm Katie and I am so happy to have church with you today. Now, raise your hand if you like food. I do. Do you? I bet you do. Now, what delicious dinner would you make if you were going to feed your whole family? Chicken nuggets, maybe hot Cheetos, birthday cake, ice cream? So tell someone in your family what you would make. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Great job! You'll see food later in the story, but right now we'll say our point. Listen to this. Every day, I can trust Jesus. Now say it with me. Come on. Every day, I can trust Jesus. Great! Now it's time for our everyday song that talks about trusting Jesus. Stand up so you can sing and dance along with me.
Every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. 'Cause there's a world outside that can't seem to make up its mind. It's saying this and that, that and this, everything's changing all the time. You are the light, the truth, the way. So I'll say, hey, every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Let everything I do honor you every day. I'll trust and obey every word you say, 'cause I know that you love me. I'm following your way every single day. I wanna be who you want me to be. You are the light, the truth, the way. So I'll say, hey, every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Let everything I do honor you every day. Every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Let everything I do honor you every day. Every day I can
Trust you, Jesus.
every day I choose
To honor you.
every day I can
Reflect you to others.
every day I am
Who you say I am.
You are the light, the truth, the way. And I'll follow you every day. I'll say, hey, every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Let everything I do honor you every day. Every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Let everything I do honor you every day. Hey, every day I choose Jesus, I will follow you. Hey, every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Hey, every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you. Hey, every day I'll choose Jesus, I will follow you.
Hey everyone, my name is Brittany and we're so excited you're joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. After the Israelites were delivered from Egypt, they were on their way to the land God had promised them. And as they were traveling there, they got hungry and thirsty, but they were in the desert. So Moses prayed and asked for God to provide for them, and that's exactly what God did. The Israelites could trust that God would provide for them, and we can trust God to do the very same for us. And that's why today we're saying every day I can trust Jesus. So we're gonna start things off together by singing a song. So go ahead, stand up, and sing this out with us as loud as you can.
to dance. Clap your hands, don't stand still. Now let me hear you lose your voice. Come on. Listen up. Let's go. Listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. I'm a child of God, you know it. Hey, I was born for this. It's why I was made. Don't have to be afraid, 'cause I know that I am saved. A child of God, that's who I wanna be. Listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Hey, listen up. Hey, listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Now put your hands up high, put them way down low. Move side to side, stop. Let's go. Come on, come on. Let me see you dance. Come on, come on. Listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Hey, listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Put your hands up high and let them know who I wanna be. I'll move side to side, come on, let them know who I wanna be. Put your hands up high, hands down low, side to side, let them know who I wanna be. Put your hands up high, hands down low, side to side, let them know who I wanna be. Hey you, listen up. I got something inside, can't get enough. It's true, I'm telling you. What you see in me is Jesus. I'm gonna show my friends and family this light glowing inside of me. I'm gonna shine for all the world to see. I'm gonna shine a light. I'm gonna shine a light for all the world to see.
so great. Thank you so much for singing along with us. And now we're going to take some time to watch a Bible story together. So like I said earlier, today's story is about the Israelites in the wilderness. So let's check it out.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Moses. This is Moses, who was an Israelite born in Egypt in a time when Israelite boys were not supposed to live. Moses, however, grew up in the palace of the Pharaoh, the very man who was enslaving the Israelite people. When Moses grew up, he made a big mistake and fled Egypt to live with the Midianites. But God called Moses back to Egypt to deliver his people with the help of his brother Aaron. After God showed his miraculous power in Egypt, he led the Israelites through the Red Sea and towards the Promised Land. They followed God, who showed himself as a cloud by day and fire by night. As God led them through the wilderness, the Israelites became thirsty and hungry. They complained to Moses and Aaron and said, "If only we had died in Egypt." God said to Moses that he would provide for his people. Each morning they awoke and found manna for the day.
What's that?
And each night God gave them meat. The people were still thirsty, and they were mad at Moses, saying, "Did you bring us out here to die of thirst?" So Moses cried out to God, and God told Moses to strike a rock, and water came flowing out of it for the people to drink. And so the Lord provided for his people's needs. After traveling in the desert for 3 months, they came to Mount Sinai, and God called Moses from the top of the mountain. God spoke to Moses there of the future of his people and reminded him of the miracles of the past. After 3 days, there was thunder and lightning as a thick cloud covered the mountain. The people heard a loud trumpet blast. And Moses led people to the foot of the mountain to meet with God. God told them how his people were to live and how they were to honor him and respect each other. The Israelites had seen for themselves that God had spoken to Moses from heaven. These rules that God told them are called the 10 Commandments. And the Israelites feared God, for his mighty power had brought them out of slavery and provided for them in the desert.
In our story today, the Israelites were wandering in the wilderness. But the whole time that they were in the wilderness, God provided for all of their needs. And God wants to do the same thing for us. Our friend, Pastor Andrew, is going to be talking to us a little bit more about that right now. So let's take a look.
How many of you have ever been hungry after school? We all have. It's been a long day at school, lunch was hours ago, and now it's time to eat. So what do? We ask our mom or dad, grandma, or older sibling when dinner is, and we ask them for dinner. Now, how ridiculous would it be if when they served up your mac and cheese, we thought to ourselves, I don't trust that mom and dad are gonna make me dinner tomorrow. I better keep some of this in my pocket, just in case. No way, that'd be ridiculous. But guess what? That's what the Israelites did in our story. God told the Israelites that he would give them what they needed for each day. And that's what God did. God sent bread from heaven each morning. Isn't that crazy? Where on earth did that come from? Ugh. Where did... Anyway, the point is, every single morning, God sent bread for the Israelites, and God sent quail from heaven in the evening. Huh. I would have thought I was going to get hit in the head again, but I guess I'm okay. This is a chicken. Every day, God gave them enough for that day. But the Israelites didn't trust that God would continue to give them what they needed for each day. They kept some food and they stored it up for later, but that food spoiled. They should have trusted God for their daily bread. God gave them bread for Monday, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every single day, God gave them bread. Jesus taught this exact same thing. When Jesus was teaching his followers how to pray, he prayed saying, "Give us this day our daily bread." God gave the Israelites their daily bread. And they were in the wilderness for 40 years. And over the course of that time, there were things that they needed. They needed water, manna, and quail. And they could not get these things on their own. They had to trust that God would give those things to them every single day. So what does this mean for us? Well, you might be in a wilderness. That wilderness probably isn't a desert, but it might be a tough class at school. It might be that you're afraid. It might be sickness, or that you feel lonely, or maybe there's confusion at home. So here's the thing. In the middle of your wilderness, there are things that you need too. You might need peace or healing, to know that God is with you, or many other things. You can trust that God will give you those things when you need them. Whether you're in the wilderness for 40 years, 40 days, or just 40 minutes, you can trust God every day. Here's the last thing I want you to see. God gave us Jesus. God gave us his only son. He gave us Jesus as a sacrifice to pay the price for our sin. If God gave us Jesus, would he not also give us everything else that we need? Our God is good. He loves you and he cares about your needs. You can trust in him every single day to provide for what you need.
Pastor Andrew talked about how God was able to provide for the Israelites and meet their needs every day in the wilderness. Are you in a wilderness of your own right now? And if so, what is it? Is it a tough class at school? Feeling afraid? Sickness? Feeling lonely? Or is there confusion at home? Whatever it is, I would encourage you to talk to your parents or your small group leader about what that wilderness might be. No matter how big or small it may seem, you can trust that God wants to give you what you need each and every day. So that's it for this week. And remember, every day we can trust Jesus. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Wait, don't go yet. We have to learn our Bible verse. I'll say it first. Listen to this. Psalm 31:14. I trust in you, Lord. I say, you are my God, you are my God, you are my God. Now, I'll say a little bit at a time, and you repeat after me. Are you ready? Okay, let's do it. Psalm 31:14. I trust in you, Lord. I say, you are my God, you are my God, you are my God. Wow, fantastic job. That Bible verse makes me thankful that God is our God and we can trust him every day to meet our needs, like the Israelites could trust God every day to meet theirs. Now, I'm going to leave you with some questions to talk about with your family. Just pause the video, read them together, and have a little chat. I'm so happy we got to have church together. See you later.